More than 10 years have passed since Prince William and Catherine first came to the public's attention, and William now takes on the Scottish titles that have meant so much to me as my successor. President Trump and the First Lady arrived at Windsor Castle by helicopter, and Prince William and Princess Catherine were the first to welcome them. Millions of people watched their wedding, and the media scrutinized every move they made. And MG? What is that? His bride is being driven back to Claretown by Sir William. There has never been anything like what happened at Windsor Castle in October. What occurs if the successor to the throne starts acting more like a king-in-waiting than a prince? His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales welcomed to the coronation concert stage, and when the woman by his side demonstrates that she is prepared to become the next Queen of Britain, what does that mean? Come talk about how hosting the Kuwait Heir demonstrates to the world that Prince William is prepared to assume greater responsibility. Controls the stage in Windsor. Catherine spends most of her time at the Windsor Castle since she adores it. She wanted people to understand what made the old halls and lovely gardens so significant to her, so she got really passionate about showing them around. The recent events at Windsor Castle have been the subject of discussion among royal observers worldwide, and millions of admirers of the monarchy listened intently. Prince William was in the center of the magnificent grounds of Windsor Castle that day, plainly directing the future of the monarchy in addition to being the heir apparent to the British throne. Given that what transpired during those few days felt less like routine royal responsibilities, October 2025 may be remembered as a watershed moment, more akin to the beginning of a completely new era for the British monarchy. His Highness Sheikh Sabah al-Khalid al-Hamad al-Sabah, the Crown Prince of Kuwait, was welcomed by William and Catherine upon their arrival. What seemed to be merely another diplomatic encounter turned out to be much more. It is helpful to realize that concerns about the British monarchy have been growing for months in order to fully comprehend this moment. What follows, for the organization, as he manages ongoing cancer treatment and all the responsibilities that come with being monarch, Monarch Charles has demonstrated strength in the face of personal health difficulties that even a crown cannot shield against. Get the latest information from Buckingham Palace, which revealed that the king has been given a cancer diagnosis. The palace's neighbors have been quietly discussing what they refer to as a soft transition, a phrase that frequently appears in late-night briefings and tabloid articles, where reporters and royal observers attempt to ascertain the monarchy's future plans. Anyone who pays attention has noticed the slow but steady transfer of responsibilities from father to son, as well as the progressive shift in who represents the crown on significant domestic and global matters and who attends particular events. Then all changed with this Windsor welcome. William arrived at the castle as the official host in charge of all the formalities and ceremonies, not as someone waiting for his turn. Catherine looked stunning as she stood behind her husband, and her demeanor throughout the occasion demonstrated the kind of understated strength she had cultivated over the years of being in the public eye. Together, they managed the reception with assurance and command, demonstrating that this was not a one-time occurrence, but a preview of what the monarchy will look like after the generational transition is finished. The world watched as these two individuals who have been training for years demonstrated that they are prepared for what is ahead and are already handling those obligations with such skill that both critics and admirers may feel proud. There was more to what transpired at Windsor than mere formality. It demonstrated how things are evolving in the background. How much of the change has already occurred that world leaders are now interacting directly with William. The crown has never been closer. As a major player in Gulf diplomacy, the Crown Prince of Kuwait is not merely a passing visitor. His journey to Windsor demonstrates the significance of Britain in bridging disparate regions of an unstable world. William was in charge, making phone calls and managing tasks that the king would typically handle. The pivotal moment occurred hours later when William and Catherine released a video that felt very honest and unvarnished. They discussed the power shift taking place inside the palace and made it abundantly evident that William's coronation is not something that will happen in the distant future, but will actually happen much sooner than most people would like to acknowledge. This isn't merely conjecture or speculation. In reality, the monarchy is adapting to a king whose advanced age and health concerns require the successor to be prepared to assume leadership. William is carving out his position on the international scene with Catherine right there as an equally significant part of this change, so he is doing much more than simply welcoming notable guests to royal residences. The personal video they released later in that afternoon at Windsor together creates something that goes beyond a single news cycle, demonstrating how the next stage of the monarchy will blend genuine transparency and honesty with strong leadership. With every month that goes by, the crown gets closer to William, and the events at Windsor make that truth too clear to ignore. It is helpful to reflect on the changes that have occurred in recent years in order to see why William's Windsor reception is significant. Despite the formality of King Charles' coronation in 2023, there was a secret worry about his age and vitality. William made a solemn vow that evening to stand behind his father, the nation, and the Commonwealth. After waiting longer than any other successor, Charles was crowned king at the age of 74. During his reign, he prioritized environmental concerns and modest attempts to modernize the monarchy. When the palace revealed in the spring of 2024 that Charles had cancer, though they never specified the type or severity of the disease, the rumors about his health became significant news stories. Although Charles avoided making many public appearances, he continued to be visible through video messages and a few events when he felt well enough. Without complaining, William took on the additional job. As his itinerary grew to accommodate all his father could no longer manage, he attended everything from Earthshot Prize presentations to D-Day commemorations. According to family sources who spoke to the Times, the family held late-night meetings at Adelaide Cottage, where Catherine maintained stability by managing the mounting demands in a composed manner, while William reviewed briefing documents. This transfer of responsibilities was being put together gradually rather than abruptly or in an untidy manner, and deliberately, gradually, much like constructing something long-lasting. By mid-2025, it was evident that William was taking on more than backup responsibilities, and Charles had made references to transferring additional responsibility to William. William now takes on the Scottish titles that have meant a great deal to me as my heir. Did William start to take the initiative at this point? William raises his royal flag. When Charles and William appeared together at a Commonwealth summit back in the summer of 2025, Charles gave some very obvious clues about how responsibilities would be transferred, despite his diplomatic efforts. He said something courteous, but everyone knew what he meant. William began to take on additional responsibilities, like as foreign policy, environmental policy, and even receiving briefings on defense issues that the king typically handles alone. Additionally, Catherine's role evolved from one of sideline assistance to one of active collaboration. She became stronger as a result of her 2024 cancer battle, and William now benefits from this strength in whatever he does. Together, the two have become the monarchy's main team, handling tasks that Charles used to do alone. All of this has a personal cost, which gives the changes more depth. According to family members, William is performing these responsibilities not only out of obligation, but also out of a desire to keep his father safe. He is observing Charles as he copes with his disease and the unrelenting march of time. Every handshake William now delivers demonstrates what Charles taught him about carrying out his duties with sincere care and leading with compassion. A former palace employee told Vanity Fair, "William's increasing feeling of responsibility is seen in the way he handles formal assignments and events. Is this the time that he truly begins to lead now that he is taking on the responsibilities that his father once held?" William assumes leadership. Prince William has been occupied with official responsibilities over the past year. On behalf of King Charles, he presented prizes and honors during a number of investiture ceremonies held at Windsor Castle and Buckingham Palace. Athletes, physicians, philanthropists, and others who have had a significant influence in the UK were among the recipients. William represented the royal family during the funeral of Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah in Kuwait in December. Kuwait has held funeral prayers for Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah, who passed away on Saturday at the age of 86. Then in June 2024, during the international event at Omaha Beach, commemorating the 18th anniversary of D-Day, William represented King Charles. He joined prominent figures such as French President Emmanuel Macron and U.S. President Joe Biden. During his cancer treatment, Doctors had warned that Charles would not be able to handle going to both the British and international events. William also paid respects to veterans and then laid a wreath at the Canadian memorial service held at Juno Beach. Another official handover of military duties from father to son occurred in May 2024 when King Charles formally gave William his position as Colonel-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps during a ceremony held at the Army Aviation Center in Middle Wallop. Though nothing official has been stated, there has been discussion in the public and media about whether Prince William may assume greater responsibilities or whether a formal regency could be established. William has developed throughout time into a self-assured individual who raises important concerns in Britain and beyond. He founded United for Wildlife in 2014 to combat illicit wildlife trafficking. He attended the group's global summit in Singapore in 2023, where he spoke with government, law enforcement, and conservation leaders. He launched Home Words in June of that year, a 5-year plan to address homelessness in the United Kingdom. The Royal Foundation is trying to demonstrate that homelessness can be addressed by making it rare, transient, and not something that individuals experience repeatedly. Through the Earthshot Prize in particular, Prince William has been actively involved in environmental issues. He has demonstrated in his speeches, notably those at the D-Day festivities, that he is capable of politely and clearly discussing subjects like international collaboration, duty, and sacrifice. Real governmental power has already shifted to him in significant ways, as seen by the fact that he is now in charge of these diplomatic events, rather than merely assisting his father. This makes his future as king seem less distant, and more like a transition that is actually taking place. The titles of William over the years. For many years, Prince William was known as Prince William of Wales, but he was born with the title of British Prince. When he wed Catherine Middleton in April 2011, it all changed. He was bestowed 3 new titles by Queen Elizabeth II on their wedding day: Duke of Cambridge, Earl of Strathern, and Baron Carrick-Fergus. On May 26, 2011, these titles were formally confirmed, signaling a change in his position within the royal family. Additionally, granting him inherited roles associated with several regions of the United Kingdom. As the eldest son of King Charles, Prince William automatically acquired a number of new titles upon his accession to the throne on September 8, 2022. The Prince and Great Steward of Scotland, the Baron of Renfrew, the Earl of Carrick, the Duke of Cornwall, the Duke of Rothesay, and the Lord of the Isles were among them. There was no need for a ceremony or proclamation because the titles were passed down by law and custom. William was formally titled as His Royal Highness, the Duke of Cornwall and Cambridge, from September 8 to September 9. King Charles declared on September 9 that William would be named Prince of Wales, a title customarily bestowed upon the successor to the British throne. In the majority of the United Kingdom, William has been referred to as His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, ever since. However, when performing official duties in Scotland, he is known as His Royal Highness, the Duke of Rothesay. Even though he had been publicly using the Prince of Wales title for months, the official documents verifying his new titles, including Earl of Chester, were not issued until February 13, 2023. Prince William has a number of honors that are indicative of his role and service in the United Kingdom, in addition to his royal titles. He is a member of the oldest and most prestigious chivalric organization in Britain, the Organization of the Garter, as a Royal Knight Companion. He is acknowledged in Scotland as an additional Knight of the Order of the Thistle, the highest honor in the nation. In addition, he is the Great Master of the esteemed military and civil organization known as the Organization of the Bath. The Privy Council, of which William is a member, counsels the king on matters of state. Additionally, he serves as the king's personal aide-de-camp, a ceremonial position that demonstrates his close relationship with the monarch and his duty in representing the crown. People's perceptions of William have always been greatly influenced by his popularity, in addition to his official titles. Could this be what sets him apart from previous heirs, with tradition on one side and widespread public backing on the other? William's lasting appeal to the public. William has been a favorite of the British public since his birth, and has remained so throughout his life in the spotlight. Raised in the public eye, he was known as a heartthrob in his early adulthood, and was regarded as one of the most desirable bachelors in the world, much as his father had been in a previous generation. According to Ruth Laferla of the New York Times, William's appeal was sophisticated and courteous, which contrasted with the bad boy persona that Leonardo DiCaprio and other celebrities of the time possessed. He adopted a more sedentary and fatherly demeanor after marrying Catherine, creating the appearance that he had entered a secure and happy home life, which significantly altered his public image. According to Anne McElvoy, Prince William strikes a balance between his laid-back personality and his more serious side when necessary. Through his own technique, he also emulates his mother's approach to social interaction. He devotes much of his time to larger projects that he believes have genuine impact, which he calls big bet initiatives, rather than formal events and smaller causes. William stated in a 2016 interview that he wanted to adapt to the changing environment in order to maintain the royal family's relevance over the next 20 years. According to the Times, he and Catherine have a strong working relationship and are dedicated to managing their public image while maintaining a grounded home life. In 2011, Time magazine named William and his recently married wife Catherine among the world's most influential people, recognizing William's worldwide impact. William was the most popular of 15 well-known public individuals, according to a Gallup Inc. survey that surveyed Americans about their thoughts of them in August 2023. He was the most popular royal family member in December 2022 and September 2023, according to YouGov polling, but by April 2024, he had fallen to second place in those same rankings. In December 2024, the Daily Telegraph recognized William's steady sense of style by listing him on its annual list of the finest dressed celebs. Time magazine acknowledged the influence of William and Catherine's philanthropic endeavors by listing them on its inaugural Time 100 philanthropy list in 2025. They were at the top of Tatler's Social Power Index that year, which measures the impact of prominent members of high society and culture. These honors demonstrate how William has maintained his relevance in a variety of contexts, including the general public and significant institutions, while establishing a public persona that combines royal tradition with a contemporary emphasis on worthwhile causes. William and Catherine were merely two college students becoming friends long before they were known for their impact and philanthropic endeavors. Looking back at the beginning, is their current leadership style influenced by that early connection? The romance between William and Catherine, while attending the University of St. Andrews and residing at St. Salvator's Hall, William and Catherine Middleton first crossed paths in 2001. First and foremost, they were friends before things gradually became love. William is reported to have been drawn to a charity fashion exhibition at the university in 2002. By their second year, they were living in an apartment with two friends, which facilitated their daily interactions and helped them get closer. In order to lay the groundwork for a relationship that would eventually garner international attention, they began dating in 2003 and lived together with two roommates in Balgov House for the next few years. At Tamnagar, a bungalow on the Balmoral estate that William inherited from the Queen Mother, he and Catherine enjoyed peaceful moments together. It became their personal retreat, away from the limelight. They split up for a short time in 2004, but they quickly reconciled. They continued to strengthen their bond. Their tale was extensively covered by the media, and William even requested that reporters respect Catherine and her family's privacy. She and her family went to Sandhurst for his military graduation in December 2006. However, it was announced in April 2007 that they had broken up once more. In July 2007, Catherine attended Diana's concert with her family. Only a few months after it was established that she and William were back together, there were rumors that they had broken up. Another significant occasion they shared was when she attended the Order of the Garter ceremony at Windsor Castle in June 2008, where William was made a royal knight. In Anglesey, Wales, they had relocated to a cottage on the Bedorgan estate by 2010, where William concentrated on his military duties until 2014. After completing his RAF search and rescue training, William proposed at a cabin on Mount Kenya on a trip to Kenya that October. On November 16, 2010, the engagement was formally declared, and William presented Catherine with the identical ring that Princess Diana had previously owned. On April 29, 2011, hundreds of millions of people worldwide, including 26 million in the UK, witnessed their wedding at Westminster Abbey. Following significant renovations, they moved into Flat 1A at Kensington Palace in 2013, after living at Nottingham Cottage after getting married. Additionally, they were granted Anmer Hall on the Sandringham estate by the Queen, and they resided there from 2015 to 2017. They now reside at Adelaide Cottage in Windsor, where they concentrate on raising their 3 children in a more tranquil environment after Kensington Palace served as their primary residence until 2022. Their public roles began to expand as William and Catherine began to live a more tranquil existence at Adelaide Cottage. Was this the point at which William started to be viewed as the heir apparent? William take control. Although Charles is still formally in control, the Windsor reception received a lot of attention from the UK media, which gave the impression that William and Catherine were already taking on the responsibilities of king and queen. TV pundits analyzed their response to the incident, highlighting indications that the balance of power is beginning to change. There was a lot of discussion about William's potential as a king and whether he was prepared to govern online. This wasn't simply another royal appearance for many. It appeared to be a preview of the monarchy's future. There was a noticeable age divide in the responses to William's growing position. It was interpreted by older Britons as an indication that the monarchy was ending amicably. When younger people looked at the same time, they noticed changes, seeing it as a start towards modernizing a facility that frequently seems out of sync with the times. This distinction demonstrates both the difficulty William faces in upholding tradition and the continued relevance of the monarchy in modern times. The Windsor greeting, according to some political authors, was a part of a larger picture that demonstrated how the monarchy is attempting to adapt to changes in British politics, society, and the economy. They emphasized the nation's persistent concerns about its place in the world following Brexit, its financial difficulties, and shifting perspectives on identity and values. The monarchy must maintain tradition while juggling all of this. In a time when democracy is more important than ever, some experts believe that William's expanding position could help the royal family adapt, while others question whether contemporary changes are sufficient to maintain popular support for an inheritance-based system. The Windsor gathering was interpreted by royal family watchers as a sneak peek into William's transition into the position of head of state. Every moment was broken extensively by online groups searching for clues about how he would lead when the time came. Given how they handled the Kuwaiti visit, many were certain that he was prepared, and that Catherine was a good fit for the position of queen consort. News from other nations demonstrated how William's activities were being observed globally, as royal admirers attentively examined his role during the Windsor event. Is this where Williams begins to influence the international perception of Britain? Windsor welcome is covered by international media. The Crown Prince of Kuwait's visit to Windsor Castle was widely covered by Middle Eastern media. According to reports, the occasion demonstrated Britain's continued backing for its relations with Kuwait and the Gulf. Williams hosting the visit was interpreted by Kuwaiti newspapers as an indication that the relationship will endure despite changes in British government. The UK has been a crucial ally since the Gulf War, according to experts, and Williams' involvement conveyed a strong message of stability. According to the coverage, Kuwait views William as a trustworthy individual for upcoming diplomatic and business collaboration. The Windsor incident was emphasized by US and European news outlets as an illustration of how Britain uses soft power to maintain its influence on a global scale. American newspapers examined how the royal family is playing a significant diplomatic role in the nation's efforts to repair its reputation following Brexit and political problems. The royal family made the UK stand out and made connections with international leaders, according to European media, that contrasted Britain's approach with that of other nations. Overall, the survey demonstrated that despite Britain's political and economic difficulties, William and Catherine are beginning to play a larger role in representing the nation abroad. News organizations in Commonwealth nations, particularly those in regions of Africa and Asia, closely monitored the Windsor reception and its potential impact on their relations with Britain. Australia, Canada, New Zealand, India, and a number of African countries examined how their future connections with the monarchy would be influenced by William's growing influence. While some media expressed optimism that he could infuse Commonwealth ties with a fresh aesthetic, others questioned if the monarchy still aligned with these nations' current self-perceptions. Wider debates on whether maintaining royal ties is still the best course of action were spurred by the incident. Do you believe it's appropriate for William to assume such a significant position while his father, King Charles, is still in power? Given the king's health issues, do you think this changeover is appropriate, or is it happening too quickly? Please share your ideas in the comments section below. Remember to subscribe, like, and share for more. Click the following video that appears on your screen as well.